Welcome to BooksGenie.ai. I'm Omar, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to create children coloring books. Let's get started. The first thing we need to do is basically create a book. So let's go to our books section here and click on create a new book. You are presented with this wizard. The first thing we need to provide is basically a title for our book, which is mostly the title of the project. So I'm just going to call mine my first coloring book. Then we have to choose the type of the cover. We have paperback or hardcover. Usually for coloring books, you go with the paperback. Unless you are creating some sort of a premium coloring books, you probably want to opt for the hardcover, but I think mostly it's really just paperback, so I'm gonna use that one. And click on next. Then we need to choose the interior type, that is the paper type inside our coloring book. Since this is black and white coloring book, I'm just gonna stick to the standard black ink on white paper. So I'm gonna choose this one. And then we have to choose the size of our book, that is the size of the paper. For coloring books, usually you can go with 8.5 inches by 8.5 inches, or you can go with 8.5 inches by 11 inches. This is like most common size. The 8.5 inches by 11 inches is the A format standard. If you are familiar with that, you can also view the dimensions using centimeters here. Yeah, I think for us, we're just gonna keep it simple for the sake of this demo and just click and choose these square kind of shape. 8.5 and 8.5 inches. It gives us like very good space for creating this coloring book. Then I'm gonna enable the bleed. I actually recommend that you always enable the bleed on the books that you create. Once we chose our page and we enable our bleed, we can click on next. And this is where you have to decide how many pages you would like to have. Because as you can see in this note, once you create the pages, you will not be able to change that. So you have to plan ahead on how many pages your book has. For coloring books, usually it's around 24 pages, 32 pages. I rarely seen like coloring books for 40 pages because again, they are for children, but it also depends on the audience, right? For children, yeah, like 40, 24, or let's say 32 is also a good number. So I'm just gonna go with let's go with 32 pages. And then click on create. Once you click on create, your book is actually open in the book editor. And as you can see in the editor, you have the cover section, which is highlighted here. And then we have our 32 pages that we just created. All of them, they are currently blank, and I'm gonna walk you through how you can create these coloring books. The first thing we would like to do, since this is a coloring book, is to create our illustrations. And that's pretty easy with BooksGenie.ai because all you have to go is basically go to this icon here, or this button, and then you choose the coloring book. Once you click on that, you are presented with this wizard or a form that you have to fill in to generate the pages. So as you can see, your story, this is where you have to describe what is the theme or what is your idea around this coloring book for children, right? In my case, I think I will just create a coloring book to help kids learn alphabet. And I'm gonna use that one by basically generating illustrations of animals. And yeah, so without further ado, let's just get started. I already created like the text here for the prompt, so I'm just gonna paste it here. So my idea is the following: the alphabet of amazing animals. This book combines learning the alphabet with discovering unique and interesting animals from around the world. For example, Z is for zebra, and I'm asking the AI to generate 26 unique titles and do not use the same alphabet letter, right? You can also choose the language because when we are creating coloring books, we are also going to generate titles for every illustration, and you can choose the language of those titles here. I'm just gonna keep it for English for now. And this is also very important here because we are talking about the audience age range. BooksGenie.ai allows you to create coloring books for children and adults as well. And this is where you're gonna change which audience you are targeting. because for children, usually illustrations are very simple and easy to color. And then if you go to adults, we are talking about mandalas and so on. So there is a lot of details, a lot of complex illustrations for the adults to color. And this is where you change the output format of BooksGenie.ai. So basically, in our case, if we keep it to 4, like age from 4 to 8, we are targeting like these small children, right? And the illustration would be pretty simple, straightforward, easy to color, and I'm gonna keep it this way. But just keep in mind that changing their age range here will basically change the audience. The AI would use this information to figure out what is the audience group of this coloring book, and based on that, it will generate either simple or complex coloring illustrations. For the number of pages, I would like to have 26 pages. That is the number of alphabets. So I'm just gonna type in 26 pages here. And now I'm gonna click on create the outline. So the AI now is taking my idea and it will try to come up with suggestions of different illustrations. So we're gonna see that in a few. So these are the suggestions that the AI came up with. As you can see, you are able to remove one if you don't like it and then start the process again to add that specific one that you would like to add. Let's just see if we actually got unique letters here. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, E, G, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So we have all our alphabets and they look pretty good to me. So I'm going to keep them all and I'm just going to create now the pages. Clicking on create the pages, it will actually go and generate these images. As you can see, we have the images being generated right now. This might take some time. So our first image has been created. And as you can see, we also have this button reimagine. So if the AI generated an image that you don't really like, or if it has some things that's not what you wanted, you can always click on regenerate the image and the AI will generate a new image based on the same prompt that you want. All right, looks good. Yeah, for example, this one is kind of looking a little bit strange that we have G is for jaguar, but we also have like a jaguar with 2 heads, right? So yeah, I think this is something you would like to change, and I'm just gonna click on regenerate the image and it will generate another picture that's hopefully gonna work. Yeah, this is much better picture than what we had before. All right, now that we have all our images generated and we verified that, okay, they are looking fine, we don't need to change any one of them, you basically just click on next. And once you click on next, you choose the book layout. So we have 2 different layouts here. We have a bordered one. As you can see, the image will be in the center and then it has a border. And we have a plain one, which doesn't have like a border around the page. And in both, we can enable titles or disable them, right? So in my case, I'm just gonna use this one and I will enable the border, the title as well. Then what you're gonna do is basically you have to choose the pages. So here you need to plan a little bit, right? So I would like to leave page number 1 for basically a place to say the owner of the book, like a place where the child can write their name on. And then I would like to have the second page as a blank page. And then I will have basically a title page here, title of the book. And then I'm gonna leave that part as well blank. So I will start from page number 5. And I need to select 26 pages starting from here. You can press Shift to select multiple pages. All right, now we have 26 pages selected, so I just click on Done. And now I will click on Finalize the book. Now, if we go to page number 5, we can see our illustrated illustrations pretty much added to all of our pages, and they are formatted using this border, and we have the title here as well, because that's the layout we chose. You can also disable the margins for now, just to have a clear view of how it looks like. I highly recommend to keep the margin guides enabled so that you are sure your content is within the safe area of the print, because this is the safe area of the print, and that's what these margin guides help you see, basically where your content should be. Since we enabled the bleed, your content could bleed out of these margins. If you have like a background image or something, you can bleed out of this safe area, but your main content should always be within this safe area here. So great, looks like we have all our pages created. So let's go to the first page. As I mentioned, I would like to use this one as the label kind of page. So what I'm going to do is just create something here, and I'm going to do this as this book belongs to. Once I have that one, I can always change like font size if I want to, and I just make this one a center. I think it's too big, right? You can also change the font to something maybe a little bit funnier or nicer. Let's try this one. Yeah, this is looking good. And then I'm just gonna do lines here, right? One, and I'm doing the second line here for the name. This is one way of doing it, right? And this is, yeah, but I think there is a better way with BooksGenie.ai. We can actually delete those. And what I like about BooksGenie.ai is that in this lib, we have a set of different common paper types that you can use. So in this case, I would like to have these specific lines, so I can just use the lined paper. And as you can see, this is something we can resize and change, and it will dynamically generate these number of lines here, right? And you can also change the space between them here. And we can also change the color. So I'm just gonna go with this little bit of gray here. You see, now this is much, much better. And I can always configure it. It's better than creating those lines individually. And this one, as I said, it would be like the other opposite of the page. So I'm gonna leave it as blank. And here I'm just gonna create the title of my book. And that was the Alphabet Amazing Animals, right? So I'm gonna increase this one a little bit, and I will increase, let me change the font first. So I'm just going to go with the Courgette font that we used before. And I'm gonna increase this one to a little bit bigger. I'm gonna center it. Nice. And maybe you would like to put your publishing company here. So I'm just gonna call this one Animals Kingdom Publishing. Okay, I don't need this extra text here, so I'm just gonna delete this one, and yeah. Maybe a little bit smaller. And I'm gonna go and center it as well. All right, so this is our page. This is the next page, which will be blank, and then we have the title, and then I'm gonna have this one blank as well, and then our book starts. So this is just the layout that I decided to, but if you have different ideas, feel free to do it. The main point here is how to generate these illustration pages, and I showed you how to do it. I'm just going to finalize that now. Now let's go back to our cover. So as you can see, BooksGenie.ai already provides you with all these guidelines here. So the orange line, inside this orange line is the safe area. So that will basically where your content will be. You should not go beyond these orange area. The red is basically the bleed area. This is where, when we print, this is where the cut will happen. So anything after this will be basically cut off. But it's recommended that when you are creating covers or anything that goes beyond the bleed is to actually let your background go beyond that bleed line, so that when it's cut off, there will be no white margins or something because of some printing errors. That's why it's good to actually always extend beyond these bleed your background. But your content, any text, any image that you would like to make sure it's not cut off, then it should always be within this orange area. The blue lines basically specify the spin, that is the back of the spin of the book. So let's create a cover. You can always zoom out a little bit here just to have a view of the whole cover here. And if you are familiar with Amazon KDP, so this cover, the right side here, this side is basically the front of the cover, and what comes here, the left side, is basically the back of the cover. So let's create a cover for our coloring book. We need to find an image, right? And surprisingly, using BooksGenie.ai, it's pretty simple because we can actually use our images here to either find images on Pixabay, like this is a direct integration of Pixabay here. So you can search and add images however you want. But in this case, I'm going to show you how you can actually generate an image using AI. So in this case, I'm just going to specify what kind of image I would like, right? So I'm going to create here, create a cover, create an image, or let's say create in digital whimsical art, a picture of animals in nice environment to be used for children coloring books around animals. No text and no orders. So I'm actually telling the AI that my image should not have any text because I would like to write the text however I want. I just want a nice image. And let's see what the AI will give us from this simple prompt. When I click on this button, and it will try to generate an image here. All right, looks like we have our image. So if you click on it, it will be brought here. And we can probably use this one, or maybe we can also like try. Yeah, let's do colorful. Okay. Beautiful. Let's try this one again and see what we will get. All right, so we have this one and we have this one here. I don't really know which one is better, but I think I'm just gonna stick with the first one here that I got. So I'm just gonna remove this one from here, and that's not the point anyways. So you see that based on this prompt, you can generate images that you can just use. So I'm gonna stick with using this one. And since it has this kind of borders, I'm just gonna get rid of that quickly using the crop feature here. So I'm gonna click on this, and then I will just drag my window to the area that I am interested in. And yeah, I'm just gonna do this, and then double click, and my image has been cropped. Now I can actually play around with this one, right? So I'm just going to increase the size. As you can see, I'm going way beyond the bleed because I would like to do that. Quick tip here, you can always reduce the opacity so that you can still see the margins here, right? So I'm gonna do this like that. And now I'm going to turn back my opacity. And now for the other side, I will basically choose the color, and I can pick a color that exists within this image, right? So maybe this green, right? So this is how it looks like. And now in this side, what I can do is basically go to some of my illustrations and just to show the user what kind of illustrations will be inside this book, right? So do Control-C, copy one of the images here, and I'm just going to do the same thing. So I go to one of the pages, and I'm going to do Control-C to copy that image, go back to my cover, and just paste it there. And same thing, I'm just going to resize this one so that they are all the same. Maybe I will do this bird as well. So I'm just going to do it here. Okay, so let me do them a little bit further of each other. Great. You can add more if you want. We can also change or add some borders around them to look a little bit nicer. Okay, and I'm going to do the same for the other bird here. All right, so as you can see, we have now nicer corners. And what I would like to also do is probably add some copyright notice in my cover. And the way to do it, I can just click on a text here to add a text field, right? And then when you select the text field at the top here, you can see this icon, which basically the AI Genie, which is just an AI writer. And I'm going to ask it to generate content for me. So I'm going to do write the copyright page notice for the book titled The Alphabets of Amazing Animals. And I'm gonna click here, so it will basically generate something for me, and I'm just gonna use this prompt and we will edit it once we have it in our book here, right? So I'm gonna increase this. We don't need this information, but feel free if you would like to actually add them here. So I'm just gonna remove these that I don't need. And yeah, you can put your author here. We put it like Animals Kingdom Publishing, right? So now we have the copyright notice that I can actually just put it maybe here, because remember in this side here we also have the barcode of the book, so don't go way further there. Let me change the color, so I'm just gonna pick something from the picture here. This looks good. I'm gonna just make it a little bit closer to the whites. Okay, now that looks good. And we can, yeah, maybe change the font size a little bit. Add some spacing if you want. Yeah, maybe I will remove the bold here. It looks better this way. Now let's create the title for the page. So what I'm gonna do is actually use this drawing here, and I'm just gonna add some background. All right, so this looks good. I'm selecting it, and then I will just set the stroke to 0 because I don't want to have this border around it. Okay, and I can also change the color to something from the picture, maybe this blue color, or maybe green. So I'm gonna go way beyond the margins there, and yep, okay. Now I'm just gonna take my text and call this one the alphabet of amazing animals. Go ahead here and basically increase the size. I'm going to choose the font that I used inside as well, which was this courgette. And I'm going to increase this because it's a title. And I'm going to change the color to be white. I think white would look good here. And maybe here I'm just going to reduce the opacity, right? So this is one way of doing it, but I think this is not what I would like. So maybe you can choose a different color, completely different color. Yeah, this one looks a little bit nice. And that's it. So we have our cover created. This is basically how we create a coloring book using BooksGenie.ai. I think the process is pretty simple. Of course, when you are building something or when you are creating something to actually sell on KDP, you need to have really nice designs and you need to put more thought in how things look, right? So for example, I'm still not happy with this pink color, so you can always choose different colors, maybe this blue one. And yeah, you know, play and like change things to see how it fits, right? So maybe instead of using this green, now I will probably try out and use the blue, right? So now we have something that matches our sky, and also it allows us to have a nicer title background. You can see how easy it is to actually change the content and how to design things using BooksGenie.ai. These illustrations was basically just to few clicks and we are done with them. Now that we have our book completely generated, we still have actually 2 pages here that are empty. It's up to you. You can either go ahead and generate another illustrations following the same process, or in my case, I'm just gonna leave these as 2 blank pages for the children to draw on them, right? Or maybe if you would also like, these are like some pages that children can write something on them. If you are going with the writing option, you can always choose these paper elements here. So you can make this one as a page where children can write actually. So I'm gonna increase the space here. And yeah, I'm just gonna change this color to be a little bit like that, just to have some content on the pages. So be creative when it comes to what's going to be inside the page. All right, now we have all our images and our pages ready. So now how can you export this to KDP? That's where you come to this side here and you see this button, export for Amazon KDP. As you can see, it also says that and save changes. That is, they are not synchronized with the server, but now they are saved. So autosave, or you can always click on the save button. But also when you are going to export, it will automatically save the content. So let's create our KDP files. So just click on this one and you will see a notification popping up here saying that an export task is scheduled, and in this case it immediately starts processing. So now what BooksGenie.ai is doing is actually transforming this book that we just created into a format that is ready to import in your KDP. Once the processing is done, you can see like this notification saying that the book is ready and we can download it. In fact, we don't have to wait for the processing to complete. You can do other work while this is happening in the background, and then you will always get a notification here, right? So you can see that it is exported and it is successful. And now let's basically go back to our book here. If you now go back and click on edit to open it again, I'm going to click on download, and I'm going to save it into my KDP project. I'm going to call it this my first coloring book, and click on save. So this is the file that we just generated, and I'm just now going to click on it to open it. And once you have it, so we have our cover. This is the cover that you will upload on your Amazon KDP, and you can see it's really nice, so it's actually fitting the requirements. And then we basically have the interior. This is the book content that you will upload on your Amazon KDP. So exactly as we designed it. So we have this book belongs to, which is the first page, and then we have a blank page, and then we have the title, and then we have a blank page, and then our illustration starts. So yeah, we have like all of our illustrations extracted and exported as Amazon KDP, and these are the 2 pages that we created. So that's it. That's how easy it is to create coloring books using BooksGenie.ai. I hope this video was useful. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.